are entering ENC's Pod of Awesomeness.
All right, Jay. I got my quadruple espresso latte pumping through my veins.
It's kicking in.
You know that what?
It's kicking in.
Yeah, it's kicking in.
Just got hot
Can
at
you
me.
tell?
You just got hot at me. You're like, what? Like,
Exactly.
Relax.
You cut me off. It's my espresso talk, and I can't help myself. Whatever I say cannot be held against me in a court of law or in wrestler's court.
Wrestler's court. We should do a wrestler's court. Talk about that at some point. It's interesting.
You know what we could do is have a wrestler's court as our podcast.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could find out who's up on charges.
We just do it here. Clear the air.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm a genius.
I think I just came up with that.
No, I'm pretty sure. You came up with anatomy. I came up with wrestler's court on the ENC Pod of Awesomeness.
Speaking of anatomy, getting a lot of good feedback on that, right? People seem to really enjoy it.
I thought you were going to take that somewhere else, but yes. Yeah. So,
keep sending us your ideas for future ideas. Keep sending us your ideas for future ideas. How about that?
This is not redundant. That's not redundant.
No. Keep sending us your ideas for future ideas that we might use your ideas on the podcast for anatomy of a match. How about that? Make sense? Good.
Yeah, sure it does.
Yeah.
Some good ones. Flipping through, filtering through. I like it. And thankfully you are all listening to the aspect of the possibility of getting said participants as opposed to people who are no longer here. So, we got to get to work. I guess I got to get to work.
Because the hosers are smart, man. The 5-second hosers are smart. That's why.
They are. They are
Listen
smart.
to us.
They're smarter than us, for sure.
Everybody's smarter than us.
Yeah, well. And as I was about to say, it's going to have to be my get again because today's guest is my get. And both of today's guests are my get. You are at 2 gets, and I'm at like 22 at this point.
Well, I'm just going to put a little needle in your balloon here and let the air seep out. Actually, Nattie is my get. I text her and saying, hey, Adam's probably going to text you, but just so you know, I would like to have you on ENC's Pod of Awesomeness. You're officially my get, but he's probably going to text you.
I know you're lying.
So.
I know you're lying. Yes,
I'm not lying. Why would I lie about something like that?
Because you're way behind and you're trying to redeem yourself, but there's no redemption for you, young William.
It's because
young Wee Willie Wee So.
No, I know it. I'm working on some big stuff here. All right.
Oh
yeah.
You're working on some people.
I'm still working on talking about people. I'm still gonna get them.
Yeah,
gonna get them. So, but
any line on Morgan Freeman?
No, we should get him to call in the voicemail again, though. Maybe he's mad that he didn't win at all.
I mean, he probably is.
No.
Morgan, if you're listening, talk to us. Reach out to us.
Let us know how you're feeling.
Take that rotary phone. Dial it up.
Rotary phone? What?
I don't know. I pictured Morgan Freeman having a rotary phone for some reason with his little earring there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a little earring?
Yeah.
You don't think
a little earring that's probably like a 5-carat diamond, worth $8 million. But,
just because you can't pull it off doesn't mean Morgan Freeman can't pull it off.
I don't know if anybody pulls it off nowadays, honestly.
I think I could pull it off.
I don't think you could.
I know you
couldn't.
I think I'm going to get my ear pierced.
Go for it. Please do that.
Again. I had it pierced in high school.
So NHL Stanley Cup Finals is set. It's happening.
It's happening.
I think my pick is well on their way to winning their second consecutive. And I'm not saying the Penguins I don't even like the Penguins. I'll be perfectly honest. And Penguins fans are going to be irate. They're going to be angry. I just don't like the Penguins. Never have, never will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I hate them, but I don't necessarily like them.
Did I say hate?
I'm sorry. No, I mean, but here's the thing. Nashville, they're a non-traditional hockey market that has but the fans there have embraced this team and become a huge hockey market. And everybody that's played there, from what I've heard, said is one of the loudest buildings, if not the loudest building in the league. And I don't know. I always seem to cheer for teams like that have never been there. I mean, Pittsburgh's had its share of glory. They've won plenty of cups, and I just think it's cool when teams like Nashville get through, and you'd like to see them win one, and especially Pecorine, the goalie who's played so well. But they're only down 2 games. It's not over yet.
And they've only been around, 20 years?
Yeah.
20 years? They got loads of time. St. Louis still hasn't won one, for God's sakes.
Yeah. No. Or the Flyers.
I'm worried about
the Flyers
winning one.
The
Flyers won 2.
Oh, okay.
Broad Street Bullies, man. Come on.
I didn't know if they won or not.
Like 75, 76, something like that. Back to back. That's I'm going into hockey talk. Here. I have no idea what's happening right now. This coffee has me buzzing, dude. Here we go.
That was a super haze right there. That was a super haze.
That was a long, extended super haze. Do you think he'll ever do this show now? Now that our hashtag is here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I think he will.
I don't know. Speaking of American Beer Wolf in London, I'm heading to the UK this weekend.
You are?
Excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be, as this drops happening tomorrow, you will be there for the fine folks of Birmingham.
Yeah, at the Collector Mania 24. So looking forward to it, man. Should be fun. Looking forward to seeing all my UK peeps.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Jay?
What am I going to do? I'm obviously going to need someone to do a 5-second pose with, so I need a stand-in. So if anybody wants to come and take your spot and 5-second pose with me,
well, I think Beth is with you, so
she is.
Could get the first ever 5-second Glamapeep pose.
Yeah.
Peepazon pose. Ooh, Peepazon. There you go.
Good time. Looking forward to getting to UK, brother.
She was talking about bringing my podcast equipment so that you two might be able to attack Dolph Lundgren and get him for an interview or something. Yeah. I don't know if he's there. I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah.
Last time I did one of those, I was sitting in between Dolph Lundgren and Carl Weathers. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Damn right it was for a kid who, Sylvester Stallone and Hulk Hogan, those are my guys.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't want to admit it, it was kind of like Macho Man and Piper, I really liked Apollo Creed.
Yeah, Apollo was cool. Yeah, that's
so when he wasn't a tweener anymore, when he turned face, I was fully on board.
Yeah. And then you got smoked.
Well, and then
by
Drago came. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I digress again.
Yeah. I met Dolph Lundgren once.
He's tall.
Yeah, he is tall. He's a big dude.
Tall cat.
Smart cat. Yeah, smart guy too. He's like a I want to say he's like
nuclear physicist or something.
He's like a Rhodes Scholar or something. He's like super smart. And
he's like super smart.
Yeah.
Says the not super smart guy.
So we were talking in my head. All I kept I just kept repeating in my head, "I must break you," every time.
Every time he spoke.
Something. What's that? Yeah.
Every time he spoke. How'd that conversation go? Yeah. Well, so you will be at Collector Mania 24 in Birmingham, hometown of Black Sabbath. Thought I'd throw that out there for you. Yeah. Good, hard-working town, hard-working folk. I hope you have fun. Let me know how it goes. Well, I hope Beth has fun.
There you go.
I will be looking after the girls. I am Mr. Mom this weekend, or Mr. Great band from the 80s. Take these broken wings and learn to fly again.
Kyrie eleison down the road that I must travel.
Learn to live so free. And when we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Yeah. That's off the top of my head. I haven't heard that song since probably 85.
Take these broken wings.
I just remember I wanted my hair like the lead singers. He had like this feathered atrocity.
Yeah.
It's like this MacGyver cut.
Think about that band, Mr. Like the short form Mr. Period. Mr. written out M-I-S-T-E-R.
Yeah, I mean they were.
It's ironic.
They were on it that day.
Hey Matt, do you know Mr.
I've heard of them. I mean, I'm not.
You weren't born.
No, I don't think I was. Were they pre-86? I was born in 86.
Yeah, you might have been, embryo.
I wasn't cognizant of what was going on. Yeah. I'm much more of an OMC guy.
Yeah.
Of course.
How bizarre is my? Yeah, it's like wheelhouse stuff. So
Okay.
You know Aqua?
Barbie girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he does.
Oh yeah.
Apparently you do.
No, again, that's right in my wheelhouse. Like fifth grade, sixth grade. That's when I was really starting to get into it.
Well, I want to throw to our first guest who would have been able to swim in either of those decades, especially as his alter ego Boone, the bounty hunter. Boone would have been great mid-'80s.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know, we'll bring you up to date as we talk to John Morrison, John Hennigan, Johnny Mundo, who is a.k.a. Boone the Bounty Hunter in his movie, which just came out and you can pick up at all the places, but we'll tell you and we'll send you links.
Johnny Thousand last names.
So, folks, we have the one and only John Morrison, a.k.a. John Hennigan, a.k.a. Johnny Mundo, a.k.a. Boone the Bounty Hunter. You got a lot of handles, dude.
You forgot about Johnny Nitro.
Johnny Nitro.
Johnny Nitro. Johnny Blaze. I was actually thinking, a lot of people can't say, most ever in pro wrestling, but I might be the pro wrestler with the most ever John-based ring names in history.
Yeah.
With John-based, for
Probably.
sure. Yeah. I'm going to give you that handle, that crown.
With a lot of names, but if you qualify it by saying John-based, then it's pretty hard to compete with.
I agree. And that's a hell of a title on top of your titles. See what I did there?
I just want to let you know something, that I'm actually wearing the Boone the Bounty Hunter t-shirt that you gave me.
Yes.
Right now. So
with the American flag and
that
the
just
Eagles.
makes my day.
Yeah.
Nothing really screams America like that Boone the Bounty Hunter shirt.
Yeah,
that's all sorts of America. Yeah. That's hey, do you have a hashtag for it yet?
Hashtag Boone the Bounty Hunter. Hashtag Get Boone. I was hashtagging just America for a while, but I feel like there's a lot of other America hashtags.
Yeah. There's no other Boone the Bounty Hunters, I'll tell you that much.
No. I mean, that's another thing I like to say frequently. A lot of people are saying that this movie is the best movie about a bounty hunter named Boone that they've ever seen.
So, how did all of this start? Like, where did the whole process start? Was it your brainchild? Did someone approach you? Did you approach someone and get all this together? How did it all come about?
So, both you guys have a ton of experience with wrestling and with acting and just entertainment in general also. So it's cool to talk to you guys about it because you understand the transition and just how everything works.
Yeah.
The gist of it for me was I knew I wanted to do a movie, an action movie. And when I left WWE in 2011, I didn't specifically know that I didn't leave to do Boone the Bounty Hunter. I left to do a movie, and I wanted to be able to do what I'm best at, which I think is pro wrestling, parkour, and MMA style fight choreo, and have a comedic, self-deprecating, reluctant hero as the star, and have it be an action comedy. Mm-hmm. So when I left, I started writing Boone with a buddy of mine in 2012, and the first version of the script was starring Boone, a bounty hunter who does parkour to catch his perpetrators, and I wrote this movie. It was about a $10 million movie, maybe 20, who knows. It had car chases and helicopters and explosions and driving the wrong way on the 405 through traffic. And,
that won't cost much.
No. And I started shopping that around. I took a few meetings, and pretty early on, a couple people said, hey, I don't think you'll ever find money to make this movie. So a lot of the first meetings that I had were like just pretty blatantly like, hey, bud, there's no way you're going to be the lead of a $20 million movie with 0 movies that you've done. So it's kind of started like that, and then I started making it cheaper and cheaper with each subsequent draft. Yeah. In 2013, I shot a sizzle trailer that ran like $20K. Entertainment stuff is not cheap, and I tried to use that sizzle trailer to find a company to make Boone for about around $2 million, and still no takers. Still, nobody wanted to give that much money to a pro wrestler turned first-time filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I just kept cutting the budget further and further and further until we ended up with the current iteration of Boone, which I ended up having to fund because around 2014 it felt like we had all this cast and the director and everyone attached, and we'd pushed the dates a couple times, and it felt like if we pushed the dates again, it just would slip away. So I ended up selling my house to fund the production of Boone the Bounty Hunter. And then once I did that, I was locked in because a half-finished movie, it turns out, isn't worth anything.
Yeah, so, yeah, and there goes your house. Yeah.
So then I've just seen it through, and now it's finally out. It came out on all the digital platforms: Amazon, iTunes, Vimeo, Vudu, Google Play, and all those little Cox cable, Comcast, all those gimmicks on your Time Warner on-demand TV cable box.
Man, I didn't know that. So this is a passion project, dude. Or did you feel this strongly about it from the get-go, or was it one of those things? Okay, I'm in this far, now I have to see it through. Or are you just that stubborn guy that has to see it through and get it done?
Yeah. Was there any part of you at any point that was just like, man, I just can't do this. I'm just gonna have to scrap it and just figure something else out, or was it just like you were in too far and you had to see it through to the end? There was
never really a time where I felt like I was going to scrap it. There was a couple times where before we started shooting, I mean, after I put up the money to shoot it, it never crossed my mind that we weren't going to finish it because that was past the point of no return, so to speak.
Yeah.
But when I was trying to raise money, there was a time where I started thinking maybe I should just try to write another movie, and maybe I'll put this out at some point. I wrote another movie with some buddies called Ghost Puncher, and shot a sizzle trailer for that in 3D.
That's awesome.
which is also kind of funny. Piper came out and played like the mentor figure in Ghost Puncher, and we did this weird scene where he's giving me advice about following the light to the other side, and that movie was just about like a fighter who his only power was that he could punch ghosts.
But you had me at the title anyway, so I'd watch.
The best part about Ghost Puncher really is the title.
Yeah. Hey, but it's something to build on, and you got Roddy Piper.
Exactly.
So those are two big building blocks there.
There's two pluses. Although what I learned from Ghost Puncher though was we shot it in real 3D, which is sounds cool, but is not a good idea. A, it's expensive. B, it means like you can't really move the camera around that much. You just have like this heavy, like clunky camera that just sits there, and you don't get to do that many takes because everything's expensive. And if you're trying to do action with a 3D camera, like a real legit 3D camera, I mean, this is 2014 when we were doing it too, so it's probably people are doing 3D on their iPhones now, probably. Anyway, I learned a couple things. One, 3D unnecessary. Two, a good title is important, but you have to have everything in place before you can actually expect to raise money and make a movie.
Yeah.
So no one wanted to fund Ghost Puncher either, by the way.
I might fund Ghost Puncher.
Maybe they will now. We'll see.
With Boone the Bounty Hunter, like, you're talking about, it was something that you had in mind that you wanted to do when you left WWE in 2011. It sounds to me a lot you were just kind of learning on the fly as you were going. And was it? I know your father is in the entertainment industry in a certain capacity. Did he help you out at all? Did he steer you in any certain direction, or was this kind of like, just you got to find your own way?
So there was definitely a lot of learning by doing, and a lot of the some of the early meetings that I took were with like people that my dad knew from the industry. My dad's an attorney and had a lot of connections with some other entertainment attorneys, and some of the advice that I got from them was the first person that said, like, hey, like, wake up, kid, you're not getting $20 million for Boone the Bounty Hunter. was a friend of my dad. And he did help kind of pave the way and like root me in reality as far as like what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, in watching the movie and pulling off what you guys pulled off, with less of a budget than what you were expecting. I mean, I know you can do all that stuff, but to someone watching, some of the ridiculous things you do stunt-wise in this, and the way it's caught and captured is pretty ridiculous. Like, I think people are going to see it and go, unless they're a huge wrestling fan and already know what you can do, they're going to go, okay, well, that was a stunt guy. And I'm assuming that it was you doing all of that, even the Ode to Rambo fall down the cliff through the trees.
Yeah. The part of the reason I wanted to do it was to do all my own stunts. And man, like there's so many stories and cool things about this movie. Like so one of the cool things about doing a movie like Boone, when it's your project and you're in control of it, and you have a team of people that are all dedicated to making something really good, as opposed to a movie where you're an actor or there's a firm deadline, and like the deadline is like, we've got 3 weeks to shoot, and then no matter what, the movie's over. Mm-hmm. The Hill Fall, for example, was after we'd wrapped principal photography, me and producer Brady Romberg, Josh Hill, Chris Clemens, a bunch of like stunt guys and buddies of mine, took a camera and some crash pads up to a golf course in Burbank, and we just climbed like the rocky cliffs, or I did, and we put crash pads at the bottom and just kept falling down the cliffs onto the pads over and over again, and it was just 5 guys in a crash pad. And I did that in
Welcome to Hollywood
area. Yeah, like literally, we did that over and over again until like someone in a security outfit in a golf cart drove up and was like, "Hey, no one's scheduled to be shooting here today. You guys got permits?"
How about the fact that you're on a golf course and the security guy, you're in LA when the security guy at a golf course knows exactly what to ask for filming. Yeah. If you do that in like Boise, Idaho, they're going to be like, what's going on? Is there a war breaking out? And this guy knows, hey, you got permits? Come on, hand them over.
Right. The first thing he said was like, no one's scheduled to be filming today.
Yeah.
Oh,
how many other movies have been shot at that golf course? Like Caddyshack was probably the first, and then you go from there.
Oh, man. I hope so. I hope Caddyshack was shot there. It was kind of awkward, too, because when he showed up, I was we'd finished like jumping off the cliffs because there's no more good cliffs. So I just started climbing up trees, and I was kind of up in like, I was like 30 or 40 feet up in this tree.
Jeez.
And it was like kind of right next to one of the putting greens, and I was going to jump through the branches onto a pad.
And watching the outtakes, like some of the stuff you're doing, man, like I don't even understand it. Like, maybe it's because I'm 43 and getting out of bed now is like, an accomplishment in itself. But man, over the dumpsters on your hands, and I know it's parkour and all that stuff, but what the hell, dude? How do you do that?
I think I think you can do anything by sheer force of will. And when I was doing this, like there was, I mean, when you're on the road and like when we were on the road towards the end of my run, I started writing screenplays, like when we were on those Europe tours all the time. And the screenplays I was writing then were like really, really bad. Like I wrote a couple of really stinky screenplays, which I'm glad I didn't try to get made. But it felt like I had something to prove. Like I felt like I left. I made a big deal about leaving, or at least in my own mind. Like I left for a reason, and the reason was to do this movie. And felt like while I was shooting it, like the stunts and the action and everything was, I don't know. I felt like I needed to prove it to myself and to people that I could do this thing that I've been talking about and dreaming of. I don't know, my whole life or wrestling career. It's kind of I was extra motivated. I think that's probably what helped me do all that stuff.
Yeah. It, well, I mean, it really adds some authenticity when you see, and you can tell it's you, jumping from roof to roof and, chasing after Jonathan Lipnicki, by the way. How about that? You got the kid from Jerry Maguire, and you're chasing him down on rooftops and, giving him airplane spins and fireman carries.
The first day he came on set, actually, we didn't even really know each other, was the day I had to carry him up the hill and hit him with an airplane spin and then a Death Valley driver and then throw him in a porta potty. And
nice to meet you.
Yeah. Hey, Jonathan, John, nice to meet you. So this is a low budget, so we don't have much time. I'm just going to run up the hill with you a few times and then throw you in the porta potty. And he turned out to be such a cool, positive guy and like a total gamer. He was down for everything. He was like, yeah, sure, like you can just dump me on the dirt. No need for a crash pad if it's going to be in the shot. I'll just take a couple bumps. No worries. Nice. This is kind of funny story about him. You guys know he does jujitsu now.
No clue.
I mean, he looks fit in the movie. I mean, I'm guessing that's why he was okay with having his shirt undone the whole time. It's like, okay, I'm in shape. Sure, yeah, whatever.
Totally. He's been trying to like break that the image of him as like the cute kid from Jerry Maguire. Mm-hmm. There's a buddy of mine that trains at his jiu-jitsu gym, and I just got a random call one time from my friend, and he didn't say. All he said was, "Hey, John, I just got tapped out by that kid from Jerry Maguire, and I don't know how to feel about it."
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Tell your buddy to T-shirt that.
Oh, dang. I should call Lipnicki and tell him that should
that
be his fighter merch.
That should be a T-shirt. So you got him, you got Quentin Rampage Jackson, you got Lorenzo Lamas, when the movie started, I was like, who is he chasing? No. Kevin Sorbo. It's just like, and all the Hercules quips, and that was fun. It's fun stuff. So you got all these people on board, and in the outtakes, you also got Chavo. I saw
Chavo. Chavo was like buds with Rampage, and just kind of came by to visit Rampage and me on set one day, and it was towards the end of the day, and when we cut, I was like Rampage and I were like, hey, dude, we got to do something with Chavo. We got cameras. We're on a roof.
Yeah.
So we just shot like a quick little scene with Chavo. Nice. Man, all those people, like I think when people are doing a fun project, everyone's just kind of down to play, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorbo was. He said the day before that he had like a small tear in his meniscus, mm-hmm. and
oh, really?
Then he got to set and didn't complain about it once, and just ran all over Valley Village. To the
he was hauling ass.
Where, I was like, dude, I'm like legitimately, like, I'm blowing up trying to chase Kevin Sorbo around, and I feel like he's running circles around me.
with the talent that was in the movie, like Kevin Sorbo, like Jonathan Lipnicki, did you have to, were these all like pretty much your first choices as far as the parts went, or did you have to convince any of them, or were they pretty much on board once they saw the script, or how'd that work?
It was kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. I mean, I talked to Rampage about playing that role. Like, him and I kind of became buds, and would see him a couple times a year, just hanging out in different clubs and stuff in Hollywood. And Osric and I have the same agent. Spencer Grammer was attached early on, and I was really excited that when she agreed to be in on the project. Mm-hmm. Sorbo was like I'd originally written that whole chase scene with Carrot Top in mind, but Carrot Top has that show in Vegas and couldn't miss his show. And then the casting director said coincidentally, this never happens. Kevin Sorbo happens to be in town for a couple of days, and one of the days that he's in town is the day that you need him. So he'd be willing to shoot it if you want Sorbo. And everyone was like, "Oh, nice. yes, please tell him, whatever he wants, he can have."
Well, and you still got your Carrot Top reference in later on. You also got a chump stain in, which I was very happy about. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
you guys are familiar with trying to come up with words to try to keep a movie PG-13 or not R.
Yeah,
it's something that wrestlers are pretty familiar with, and that's why chump stain, D-bag, douche rocket, turd, monkey nuts. I mean, those are not easy. It's not easy to come up with kind of funny, goofy sounding insult words that are fun to repeat but are not R.
We'll give you permission for dork chop next time too.
You can throw in dork chop.
Oh, damn it. Boom
That's
2.
a good one.
Okay. I'm gonna have to.
No. Yep.
I'm gonna have to put that in the Boone 2. That'll just be the first
Rolodex.
And only word right now on the
script. Boone 2, dork chop. Yeah, I like it.
The rest of it'll just evolve from that.
Look like you use a little bit of wrestling psychology too with this movie when you with the parkour and chasing down.
You know what? Totally. We tried to throw in when I was working on this movie that I assimilate things just in life and in general with wrestling all the time now. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be sit down at Denny's and my eggs come out wrong and the server just turned heel.
Yeah,
it's a cluster. Yeah,
it's a cluster. Oh God. Looks like a TNA house show. No offense.
No offense.
When we're doing that chase scene that you're talking about, I think when Rampage is saying you can't fight these guys straight up, you got to boon them, do some of that flippy stuff you do, man. It was specifically the wrestling psychology that I was thinking about. Instead of just having the hero somehow just hulk up and beat two guys that he hadn't been able to beat in a fight the whole time. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some sort of change in strategy or approach that makes it make sense. And Boone went to the flippy stuff. I know Cornette and Orton probably wouldn't approve, but in this case, it worked.
It works in the movies. It works in wrestling too.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you for doing something you wanted to do and then fronting your own house to do it. That takes some chutzpah.
I'll say it's some balls.
You're gonna say it. You're gonna say balls.
Yeah, take some balls.
Muchas gracias. And I mean, coming from you guys, that means a lot because you guys have both blazed your own trails, so to speak, and always constantly made it happen for yourselves in wrestling and outside of wrestling too, which is really cool.
Well,
it's cool.
It's one of the things that wrestling teaches you, for sure.
Examples.
Thanks, buddy. You're making me cry.
Yeah, don't make us cry. And also, just so everyone knows, we're talking about Boone the Bounty Hunter right now.
Yeah.
John's current movie that is out on every platform you can possibly get it on, and we'll drop that info at the end of the episode. We're also going to have a full episode with John later on down the line where we will talk about everything. Hi, honey. Lyric's on the show with us now. Do you want to say hi, Lyric? Say hi to John and Uncle Jay. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Lyric.
Where's Mom? She's out there. Okay. Dad's got to finish up some work, honey.
She said she wanted to watch Boone the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, she did. She get that. Are you done watching Boone? I want to watch it.
You're listening to E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
It was good to talk to John. I haven't talked to him for a while, man, and good for him. You know that listening to what he put on the line really to make this movie. I mean, shows you how much it meant to him to get this done and do it the way he wanted to and do it the right way. And I think I commend him. And the movie's great.
Yeah, he it takes a lot. It takes a set. And if you don't have a set, that doesn't matter. You just it takes some guts to give that a shot. Basically, sell your house. I mean, you got to have some belief in yourself. But that's the case with entertainment, with sports, with anything. Hell, with anything, you have to at some point bet on yourself,
right?
And that's when things are going to happen. And if they don't, you keep betting on yourself until they do. And I appreciate him doing that. I'm happy for him. Hopefully it leads to even more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll cast us in his next movie.
You think?
I don't know.
I would totally play a villain and try.
He did steal our catchphrase, so maybe he owes us one or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, he used Chumpstein in the damn movie. I think. Yeah. Even if it's just a quick little cameo.
Yeah, it'd be great. Good for him, though. I'm sure we'll talk to him again at some point. But I guess we should talk about maybe some of the big news that was going on this week, right?
Big news. Big news. Huge brawl on SmackDown with a fatal 5-way that never got started with our guest this week, Natalya, Nattie Neidhart, the Wacky Wombat.
Yeah. Muskrat.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Tamina.
Oh, we said it.
Carmella.
Look at that. And Carmella.
Yeah.
It was really cool and really fun to see the women finally get a chance to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
On the outside, through tables. I'm glad that that's finally happening. I know we've talked about it a few times on the show, and we'll talk about it many more times, and we'll talk about it with Nattie. But it's nice to finally see that the women are getting to use the same tools. They're being given the same paintbrushes now that the men have always had.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily being given; they're earning. They've earned it. And
well, yes, but at a certain point, the office has to say, "Okay,
yeah,
we'll let you have them," because they've always earned it. They've always earned it.
Of course, but at the end of the day, it's still they can give it to you, but you have to you have to come through when you're given the opportunity.
Agreed.
So kudos to all of them because they've all stepped up and deserved it. It's long overdue of the chances that are happening now for the women's division and continue to happen. Like we see. With the Money in the Bank ladder match, we were in the very first one. So, I mean, to see it evolve to what it is now, it's a huge thing. And, I'm sure all those girls are excited to step up and to prove themselves once again and to knock it out of the park.
Well, you know what, Jay? You said we were in the first one. A, you know what that means?
We're old.
We're fossils.
Uh-huh.
And two,
uh-huh.
people don't want to hear us talk about it anymore. So why don't we go to someone that's actually competing in one coming up as opposed to, us, Statler and Waldorf here talking about back in my day.
Wait. Let's just talk about me for like another half hour.
Of course.
Okay, we'll talk about me after we talk to Nattie. Here we go. Nattie.
Here we go. This is Nattie Neidhart, the wacky wombat.
Yeah.
The
little mongoose.
Little mongoose who floats on a piece of balsa wood out in the ocean.
I try to keep myself thick and curvy for the world.
Thick and curvy.
Well, in preparing for a ladder match, I've got to stay thick. So.
Yeah.
You got to stay thick for those ladders.
Oh yeah. You can't break us Neidhart girls.
Well, nobody's going to understand it. For whatever reason, let's just give them a little backstory. We call ourselves strange, wacky animal names.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think I look... What do you think I look like, Nattie? You said I look...
Well, there was a time that you were in WWE, and actually just recently I saw you too. You had a beard and your hair was long, and you reminded me of a lion. And
yes,
I think at one point I was calling you a mangy lion.
That's it.
Stranded at sea on a piece of balsa wood. So that was...
Yes.
Of course, I always call Jay a mongoose.
Yeah.
And, Jay's our crazy cat friend, because Jay and I are crazy cat people. We just love cats.
Yeah, more than
Jay
wrestling.
connects with us like that in a way that no one else does.
More than wrestling, we're bonded by cats. So, and we'd be those two people on the bus on overseas tours, like showing each other pictures of our cats, and texting each other pictures of our cats, which is pretty funny.
You know what's bad is the fact that I tweeted that you guys will not talk about cats, and here we are
talking about
2 minutes into the conversation, and you guys are already talking about cats and Two Paws and Felix and Oscar.
I love cats. They're the best.
You know what cats will do?
What?
Cats, if you die in the house, a cat will eat your face and suck your soul. A dog will drag you to the hospital.
No way.
I don't know if I believe that. But
I totally believe it.
Our cats are just different. They're not even like real cats. I don't even know how to explain it. They're just the best. They're the best cats in the whole world. They're just the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Well, it's because you treat your cats like they're humans. That's why.
Exactly. And
but
our
that's
cats,
a good thing.
I mean, the level of how spoiled they are is, I mean, TJ has timed out points in the day that he gives them special treats and like brushes their fur, and our cats have groomers that come over because I don't really like to take the cats out of the house, so the groomers come to us.
They come to you guys. Now, who spoils them more, you or TJ?
TJ. I mean, TJ doesn't...
Yeah.
We go through, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 times 4, I don't even know. We go through like 80 cans of tuna fish a month because TJ has to give the cats 2 cans of tuna fish a day. And they don't eat the tuna fish. They only drink the tuna juice.
Oh, so he eats the tuna, though. That way, that's how he stays jacked.
Well, TJ doesn't even eat the tuna. My mom comes over and takes the tuna and brings it to these other stray cats.
That's a good idea.
So my dad gets so mad at my mom because he's like, Ellie, you got to stop. My mom drives 30 miles every day to feed these stray cats with the tuna fish that TJ doesn't use. My dad thinks that we have a problem.
I might tend to agree with the Anvil on that one. No,
and you know it's bad when
nothing
Anvil
wrong with
is
feeding
the voice
cats.
of reason.
You know, we got to come up with a nickname for you. Like Jim was the Anvil. What could you be?
I'm the Anvilette.
The Anvilette?
Is that?
I'm the Anvilette.
The Anvilette. I'm going to think of something. I'm going to think of something. Some kind of huge steel, as you said, thick, strong. Yeah.
I'm built like a wombat. That's
hence the wacky wombat.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a very menacing ring to it for wrestling. Like you're coming up for the Money in the Bank match. Here is the wacky wombat, Natalya. Doesn't.
Well, I am the Queen of Hearts, so
okay.
That's
pretty cool.
My grandmother Helen, she was like my grandfather and her were like the king and queen of the Hart family. So my grandmother Helen was the Queen of Hearts, but I always just thought that was a cool kind of moniker for me. So I don't mind that. I know Charlotte Flair likes to call herself the Queen of the WWE, but she can take a step back for the Queen of Black Hearts.
Yeah. Ooh, I like the Black Heart in there too. A little Owen reference. I like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Who'd Charlotte Flair ever beat?
Exactly. I mean, I could not agree more.
Besides everybody.
Exactly. I mean,
Nattie,
it's funny because she and I are really close friends, but we also are like really big rivals in the ring.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do when you're competing is be really full of yourself and just think that you're the best. And I am the best.
You have to.
She's not.
You have to. And also, do you find, like I always found the people that I got along with best in the back were the people that I had the best matches with, because we weren't afraid. If anything, some elbows sneak in there. It's like, oh, sorry. And you just laugh. And I don't know, that certain pressure is off. You're in there with your buddies and you can really just tear it up because you're on the same mindset.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely 100% true for me. And then it's still, it's like if I don't get along with someone, we don't have good matches. And I've had that happen before too, where there's tension and you're in the ring and it's like oil and water and you're just like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over with, because you don't like them or you don't get along with them or they don't like you or there's a conflict or, and for the most part, I do have good relationships with the girls, but you know how it is. It's, it can get a little territorial. And when I'm friends with someone, I can just be me. And like you said, if something goes wrong or if there's you have to call an audible or, like there's that mutual understanding of like, listen, I need you to hit me really hard. Or I need to go through the table really hard.
Actually, I don't think I've ever said that to anybody before, but.
Well, nobody's ever said it to you, Jay, because you actually just legitimately punch people in the head.
What do you mean?
When you work?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I can see that.
No.
He does. Well, and we've talked about it before. If he got mad, like if somebody screwed up a spot or something or didn't hear his call, he'd just start he'd get mad and just start punching. And you're like, what? I mean, he's punching you on the top of the head. Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound like me at all.
No.
Not at all. Control freak.
Jay's a lot like TJ. They're very stubborn.
Yeah. TJ's nicer though. TJ's nicer than Jay.
Guys,
I think they're probably the same as far as like, I mean, TJ's lost his temper on a lot of people in the ring. Like, yeah. And even me, I remember one time I was managing TJ and I forgot my spot. I forgot to trip Yoshitatsu. And that TJ goes, that was all you had to do. All you had to do was pull his foot. And I was like, I'm so sorry, TJ, but I just was so caught up in the match. I thought you were doing such a great job with Yoshi that, like, I was so intrigued and captivated by what you were doing that I completely forgot to do what I was supposed to do.
But you know what, too? It's interesting. It's when you only have one thing to do, it's almost easier to screw up because
totally.
You just have that one thing. And if it goes wrong, it's going to really stand out. Whereas if you have an entire match and something goes wrong, it's like, you can make up for it with a bunch of other stuff.
Actually, it reminds me of a funny story with us, Adam, and I don't mean to get off topic. I just have to say this because it was pretty hilarious. You were wrestling where I know once on Raw, and it was the same thing. I was doing commentary, and I had one spot where I had to come in and like trip your leg. Yeah. And I got so into what I was talking about, and I was looking at the announcers that I guess like when you hit the ropes, you could tell that you thought that I was going to be there, and I wasn't. And then I remember looking up, and all of a sudden I heard this slam on the announce desk, and I look up, and you had this face, and you just went, and you turned around, you crawled back in the ring, and I went, oh, and then I ran up, and you guys did the spot, and I pulled your leg.
Yeah, because I think I had Rido take back over on me, shoot me out, and then ran me into the table so that I could get your attention. Yeah.
So
he was so wrapped up in what he had to say and how he sounds that he missed his spot.
Anyway,
it's like, I mean, I've made we've all made mistakes in the ring, but I've been there. I've so been there.
That actually happened once in Detroit too, and I forgot about it. Like Devon and I, of all people, Devon's the sweetest guy in the world, and we botched a couple spots, and then we just started like reefing on each other because we're both mad. Both frustrated. And then Bubba, of all people, leans in from outside and goes, guys, settle down. And it's like if Bubba Ray Dudley is the one telling you to calm down, then, you might need to calm down.
Then you know you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's been some spots that, there's been some moments in matches where it's been like, you got to think on the fly. And, I mean, that's kind of what I love about our job is that no day is ever the same. Everything is always different, and there's always these different variables. And, people don't realize, too, that on live television, whether it's SmackDown Live or Raw, like anything and everything can happen. Things can go wrong. I've had wardrobe malfunctions. I've had, I've cut my eye open before. I mean,
You had two teeth
Trinity
knocked out. You gave them
gosh.
to
I
the
had
referee,
2 teeth
finished the
knocked out.
match.
Yeah.
So Beth
Yeah, I
tells
mean,
me that you call and you had both teeth knocked out, gave them to the ref, and then had them put back in. Is that the story?
Yeah, that was in Las Vegas. We had a show in Las Vegas. I got tackled by Nikki Bella. Somehow, the tackle was extremely forceful because we're 2 strong-willed women. I'm like a water buffalo, and we tackled each other.
There's a new one. Okay.
I'm a water buffalo and a wombat as well. And so all of a sudden, after Nikki and I collide, I mean, I had my 2 front teeth come out, but they were always, my dentist had always told me, like, hey, your roots to your 2 front teeth are really short, because when I was a kid, when I was like 10 or 11 years old, I fell off my bike and my teeth were impacted. So there was there was nerve damage. So over time, over 20 years, my root got shorter and shorter and shorter because of nerve damage. So my dentist is like, listen, you really got to get these teeth, like, you're going to eventually have to get them taken out and get like dental implants or a bridge in there because your roots are really short. So that day was the day that my teeth came flying out, both of them. And I was like, oh my God, I lost my teeth. And I remember, like, this is literally the first spot of the match. And I saw them on the mat. I picked them up. I got out of the ring. I powdered. And I yelled at Nikki and I said, back it up. And
Back it up. I got to pick up my chiclets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like an old woman with dentures. Like, I was like, holy mackerel, what's going on?
Holy shit. What the
Holy
happened?
shit. Yeah. And I didn't know if I could say shit, but yeah, holy, you know what? And so I give my teeth to the security guard. I don't even know who this guy is. And so I just said, because I didn't know what else to do with them. I couldn't put them in my wrestling boots. Like they're teeth for my mouth. So
you could have maybe used them as a foreign object. Maybe you could have used them as an object. And
my dad's right next to me. He said, put them in my sock. But anyway. Thank you, Daddy. But yeah, so I handed this to the security guard. Nice enough man, but I don't even know if he knows what he just had them in his hand.
Nattie, let's just call a spade. Who knows what he was doing with his hands before that show?
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%
just throwing that
correct.
out there.
So he's holding on to my teeth. I finished the match. I'm like, what am I? I'm like wrestling with no 2 front teeth. But I was like, well, they're already out, so I might as well continue the match.
Right.
So we finished the match, and I just came back to the curtain, and all I could do was just start laughing. Like, that's all I could do.
I mean, tougher than me, because I would have been crying. But I could just imagine the look on the security guard's face when you were like, "Excuse me, sir, would you mind holding my front teeth while I finish this match?"
Well, I yelled at him too because I was trying to stay in character.
Poor guy, probably shat his pants, holding your teeth, shaking. Yeah, it's definitely a different industry, and like you talked about too, what's great about wrestling is that it will change day to day. Because you'll probably have a different opponent. So once you get into a rhythm of maybe you're having the same match, even with the same match, there's going to be different nuances because every audience is different. So you're going to get a different reaction to things and have to switch things on the fly because Santa Fe is not going to react the way Calgary is.
Exactly. And that's kind of the fun part, but that's also the challenging part. Okay, let's listen to the crowd and see what they're into tonight. And I swear, if I can survive what I do in the ring and survive that female locker room, I feel like I could be president of the United States.
Yeah.
But now you're Canadian.
She's dual.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Especially the drama. There's a lot of drama outside of the ring too. That's why people always say like, "Oh, is that stuff that we see on Total Divas, is it real?" And I'm like, we can't even put everything on the show because there's so much drama. Every time I walk in there, someone's crying.
No, I will say that the guys' locker room is pretty chill.
Yeah.
It never really comes to any kind of. It's rare that there's an argument back there. It's got to be, and with a bunch of hotheads like that and a bunch of alpha males, it's strange that it doesn't happen more often. But it's pretty chill.
The girls are, because TJ always says to me, like, hey, if somebody's bothering you, just beat them up. And I'm like, TJ, that's not how we handle stuff. Like, I can't just beat someone up. He's like, yes, you can. I'm like, well, I know it's part of my job, but, like, women hold on to stuff. And that's the thing is that, women are just wired differently than men. That's why
I never noticed.
is so amazing with us, because he knows how to handle women. and he's like the diva, or well, now we're called superstars, but he just knows how to like handle us and keep us in line, and no one wants to mess with Fit. And with the girls, I told TJ, I'm like, the girls, you can't just go up to them and be like, hey, what's your problem? I don't like the way you're like acting or being, or like women, you have to kind of slowly unravel the situation, and sort of like Beth actually gave me the best advice in my career, and I pass it on to everybody that I like. If I don't like you, I won't give you advice because I don't want you to succeed. But
listen, Nattie, don't sugarcoat anything, like,
okay? But Beth gave me the best advice of my career. Beth, as in Beth, the Glamazon Phoenix. And she would just tell me, don't put it over. Don't put it over. When I didn't know what the right answer was, and I was like wanting to snap, or I wanted to confront someone, or I was upset, or I wanted to like confront an issue, backstage, she'd always say, sleep on it. Don't put it over. Don't sell. Like in wrestling, we say, don't sell. Don't put it over. And then by the time all the smoke settled and the dust cleared, the issue was gone and there was a new issue. And I was like, wow, that advice helped me so much in my career, because I avoided so many fires.
Yeah.
By just not putting it over, and by everything just went away. All the things I worried about usually just all go away when you don't put them over.
They burn out on their own.
Now, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Speaking of drama, you brought up Total Divas. With Total Divas and being on Total Divas since the start, how has that, first of all, changed your life? And second of all, do you think as far as your in-ring goes, has it helped you or hindered you at all as far as the way that you're perceived in the ring, or how do you feel the whole thing's worked?
That's a great question, actually, and it's funny because first of all, to even be on a reality show, I thought, like, when I first got asked to do it, I was like flattered, but then I was like, am I a train wreck? Is that why I got picked to do this show? I know I'm part of the Hart family, so I know I'm a little off, but like. But like, and my dad's Jim the Humble Neidhart, so that makes me a little crazier on top of being part of the Hart family. But the thing is that the show has helped me immensely, because it's given me this mainstream appeal where like people that watch Total Divas, they're our audience. So there are people that watch the Kardashians, people that watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Atlanta, and it's a lot of women that never, ever, ever watch WWE.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now we've gotten this amazing crossover audience of people that are going, well, we love Nattie on Total Divas, so now we're going to see what is it that she does in this company called WWE. So they come to our shows and they bring their kids, and next thing you know, they're hooked. Mm-hmm. And the show Total Divas has allowed me to really just open up, like in a way that I never thought I could. And I was saying to Beth, when I inducted her into the Hall of Fame this past year, even being on Total Divas helped me with her speech, because I could be so much more open and so much more vulnerable, because I've had the cameras on me for 4 years. Mm-hmm. They've been on me, my family, TJ, like they backstage. I mean, in some of my most vulnerable moments where, I just finished a match or something didn't go right, or, my dad was dealing with something, or TJ got hurt, or, there's just so many moments that they've been there with me through like thick and thin, that I'm just so comfortable opening up now. Like I've opened myself up so much that I'm cool with it. I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah. Instead of having to play a character.
So, that's what's helped me with the show. So it's helped me. Sorry, my mom just opened up the door to talk to my dad. My mom is so funny. Anyway, enough about her. But I love being a part of the show, and it's helped me a lot. But it's something that not everybody is gonna like reality TV or like being filmed, because you just have to kind of let yourself go.
Are you aware that the cameras are there? Do you get used to it, or do you just kind of at some point forget they're there and you just kind of go about your daily life?
For me, I let it go. I just pretend that they're not there. And like when you do, like, that's when you do your best work, is you just ignore them. Mm. Like, I'm just going to be me. And if you guys don't like it, that's too bad, because I'm just Nattie. And it's funny because like people that haven't filmed with us before, they're a little inhibited when we first start. And then they just kind of like, they forget too that the cameras are, rolling, because our crew that films us, they're an amazing production company. Their name is Buna Murray, and they've been with the Kardashians since day one. And so they're really professional, and they're so good that you'd never even know. You'd never even know that they like are even there. They're just like such pros. So we're lucky that we have them. I mean, they caught my wedding. They, our cat got really sick and passed away, and like we were just flying home, and they were supposed to film TJ and I like going on some sort of like romantic rendezvous. But so then we go home, and our cat Gizmo is sick, and it's like real life just kind of happened, and we had to kind of they were like, "Well, do you want us to film this?" Or and I thought, you know what? At first, I didn't want them filming anything about my cat because we had to put my cat to sleep. And I was like, you know what, though? Anybody that has a pet can relate to, like, a pet is part of your family. And I felt like it was, and then how it came off on TV, it was such a powerful story. People were like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe what you guys went through when your cat got sick. And, like, for example, that situation with our cat Gizmo, I'm so happy that we shared that on Total Divas because people connected. And that's what I like people to get when they watch the show. I want them to get something from watching it and go, I went through that too, or we lost our dog, or it's like losing a part of your family. And people just connected so much, and they saw a real side of like what it was like to have to make that decision to put our cat to sleep, or because our poor cat was suffering, and it was just awful. But we caught all that on the show, and those are just like moments that you just forget the cameras are there.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. You said it's opened you up to. I'm sure a wrestling fan would see that and go, okay, they're not just always superheroes. But you said about a new, fan base, and now it's opened you up to, you have a column in OK Magazine. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then an OK Magazine, and I also have a column I write for the Calgary Sun now.
Calgary Sun, yeah. Which, by the way, the columns are great, very well written. So is that, somewhere you see yourself going one day? Is there a book in the works? Is there anything like that you plan, going forward? Because you're a good writer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I love writing. I've always loved writing, and I just think, and I know both of you would agree with this, that, wrestlers, aka superstars in the WWE, were really smart. And there's so much more that we can do besides just headlocks and drop kicks. And I mean, I can't even properly throw a drop kick. My dad would like to think that I can throw a drop kick like Dynamite Kid, but I really can't.
Your dad threw a mean drop kick.
We can't, we can do so much more than just compete in the ring. And so that's what I love about writing those columns and writing in general. And I would love to one day write a book. And we all have very fascinating stories from our travels and the people that we've met. And, we're just a very unique group of people. And I always say, like, having been involved in wrestling for so long and in WWE, it's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can't ever leave it because that's just such a big part of who we are. It's just this wrestling world. And the columns are fun because my uncle Brett, as you guys know, Bret Hart, Brett used to write a column in the Calgary Sun years ago. And I remember every Saturday being like excited to read his columns, and he'd put like one of his cartoons in and like a picture. And it was just a fun thing to go into the paper and like pick up the Sun and read Brett's column. And so when I was approached about writing the column, I was so honored because I love to write. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be really good practice for me. And I really just selfishly love to write about, people that I like and my friends and family because they make me happy. So until the Sun fires me, I'm just going to write about that kind of stuff.
So, Nattie, how long have you actually been, you've been in the industry your entire life. You're raised in it, but, officially wrestling, like how old were you when you started? How long is that now that you've been in the ring?
I have been, I feel like I was born taking a hip toss.
Right out of the womb.
Straight out of the womb. But, I had my first professional match in 2001. I started training in 2000, and I was lucky enough to train in the dungeon, and I had several really, really good coaches. My uncles Bruce and Ross were great beginners coaches. They helped me learn the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also, as I started to advance, I also got the chance to work with a world-renowned coach named Tokyo Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And his real name is Joe Daigo, but Tokyo Joe trained some of the most prestigious Japanese wrestlers, that worked for New Japan, like Tenzan, for example. He worked with Joe, and actually TJ helped train Tenzan before he went and won the G1 Climax. So they trained together, and Joe trained. We were all training with Tenzan before he won that huge tournament. And so I was lucky enough to have Tokyo Joe's help. And obviously the Dungeon is a very fabled place in wrestling history, but it really was such an honor to train there because I was one of only a few women that had ever stepped foot in the Dungeon.
Very cool. So you start off, you went to Japan first, right?
Yeah, I went to Japan first. I worked with my uncles, Bruce and Ross, they resurrected Stampede Wrestling, which was my grandfather's old promotion, and then they kind of started running it again. And they ran a school called Hart Brothers Wrestling, and so they had a school that was out of the Dungeon, and they would, train people. And so I started training with them, and then I started training with Joe after I'd, gotten more advanced. And of course, TJ was with me every step of the way of all this training. And I always joke with TJ that like wrestling is really what made us like fall in love, because TJ took a lot of moves from me that I left him with a lot of black eyes, and we survived it. And TJ was just there for me like every step of the way. He was actually I would say TJ was the best coach I ever had in wrestling. He taught me so much. And I didn't realize it when I first started training with TJ that like I didn't realize I didn't have anyone to really compare it to, because TJ was one of the first people that I had ever wrestled. So I would wrestle TJ, and I was like, wow, wrestling's fun. Like, wrestling's cool. This is amazing. I love it. And some of the first moves I ever learned weren't headlocks or drop kicks or hammerlocks. They were the very first move I ever learned was a Dragon Rana, which was a front flip onto TJ's shoulders into a Hurricane Rana.
Man. Yeah,
and
you guys weren't high school sweethearts. You guys were more like high school sweethearts. You're like headlock sweethearts. Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely high school sweethearts. I mean, I knew TJ. I've known him since I was 10 years old. I've been friends with him since I was like 15 years old. But between 10 and 15, I didn't like him that much.
Oh, yeah. Went through that phase. Yeah.
He was very cocky and very arrogant, and he just kind of got on my nerves.
So not much has changed.
And then we started to become friends, and I was like 15. But I think TJ like had a crush on me at that point. And
that's why he's being arrogant. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can put up with the Hart family, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, in my opinion. But yeah, TJ was like, I would wrestle with TJ, and he was like really my first wrestling partner and my first coach, and along with my uncles. But then one week he went away, or a couple weeks he went away and like did some tour of like Western Canada for Stampede Wrestling. So he's like, don't worry, when I'm gone, you can wrestle these other people. So long story short, I had to wrestle other people for a couple weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, TJ was like driving a Ferrari, and these other people were like driving an old Buick. And I was like, I can't even imagine wrestling anyone else, because TJ was just made everything so easy because he was so good. And that's when I really learned about like how important it is to have good opponents. And the people that you're learning with, like if they're good, they're going to lift you up and make you good. And I always wanted to be that for other people. I always wanted to be good for other people so that everybody could we could keep paying it forward. And the way that TJ helped me, like I feel proud to say like I helped Charlotte Flair that way, because when we had our match, we had a very famous match at NXT, and we'll talk about that another time, but like that match helped her so much believe in herself. And then she kind of understood what it was like, and now I'm going to put myself over.
There you go.
She understood what it was like to drive a nice car. Because
a Ferrari?
I felt like I could Lamborghini.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm a Ferrari, but she got a chance to work with somebody that was better than her, and that way she could learn and grow. And that's how I got better, was by working with people that were better than me.
Yeah, that's really the only way to get better is to work with people that are more experienced and better than you. Exactly. But you also did a little bit of I know you wrestled over in England as well before signing with WWE, and I think you went down to Atlanta, I think it was, before Florida. Was that correct?
Yes, I went down to we got hired by WWE. It took me 5 years to get hired, and it was a really big production. And because I kept on, for years and years, I kept getting tryouts and sending in tapes and, just doing whatever I could. And I kept getting the door slammed in my face. And, I was too this, I was too that, I was too wrestlery, I was too heavy, I wasn't fitting the mold of what they wanted. And I mean, when I look back on some of the tapes and pictures I looked terrible. I didn't have an ounce of makeup on. I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail and a wife beater on. And I thought those were great promo pics. I didn't even think anything of it. I was just very wholesome and I didn't know that I just was Nattie. And so I had a really hard time getting hired. And at the time, the industry was different. It was more of the Attitude Era when I was sending in stuff and trying to get hired. And I wasn't really fitting the mold of what that era was or what they wanted. And so I basically didn't get out of their face. I stayed in, and John Laurinaitis was the one that hired me. I just kept on persisting. Finally, TJ and I got hired. And I don't know if you can even, include this or not, but I was lucky enough that there were people in the industry, because at this time when I got hired, Brett still wasn't talking to WWE. They just weren't on good terms, or they just weren't talking at all. And everybody knows of, the history between Brett and WWE after the Montreal screw job. So it was like a tricky time for the Harts to get hired. So Chris Benoit was a good family friend, and our family helped him break into the industry. So Chris Benoit actually is one of the people that helped me get hired. And he really pulled for myself and TJ, and he put pressure on Johnny and said, I want to help these two people get hired. And so I feel like it was really Chris that helped us get hired.
Well, it goes back to that, saying paying it forward, because it was actually Brett that put in the word for me, along with Carl DeMarco, but it was really, Brett's word, because at that point he was world champ, that helped open the door a crack for me. And I think, as you talked about with Charlotte, you're opening the door a crack for her just by showing her that if she has, or to be able to gain the confidence to get better and be where she can be now. But that also brings me to, you've had all these opponents over the years, and it's tough because you don't want to, in any way leave anyone out, and you always do. You always forget, at least I do anyway. But who would you say are your favorite opponents over the years?
Gosh, yeah, you're right, because you don't want to leave anyone out. I mean, I would say for rivalries that I've had, one of my biggest regrets was that I didn't have a feud with Beth. We walked into SmackDown one day and they were like, "Oh, you and Beth are wrestling." I went for years and years and years never having a rivalry with Beth, because we were always either both bad guys or both good guys or teammates.
Yeah.
And so that was a regret that I had, because when we had that one match on SmackDown, it was just magic. It was like 5 minutes of magic. And I was like, it was a regret. I'm sure she has the same regret. Like, I wish I had a rivalry with her, but we didn't have a rivalry. We were, we were the Divas of Doom. We were teammates, and maybe that was what it was supposed to be. We weren't ever supposed to really have a rivalry. But as far as, that would have been my dream rivalry, but again, we were teammates. But one of my favorite opponents would have to be Charlotte Flair. It's just like a magical chemistry that we have with each other. And I know that we have, when I first met Charlotte Flair, one of the things I loved about her was how vulnerable she was and how she allowed herself to, we had a very emotional conversation, and she told me, she didn't believe in herself. Mm-hmm. And when I met her, I think it was almost 100% positive. It was right before her brother passed away. And so she was just telling me, she's like, she's just gotten to NXT and she's just been recently signed, and she's like, I don't really feel like I fit in, and I don't feel like I'm pretty enough, or I'm not built like these girls. I don't look like a model. Like, I'm just, I don't know, I just don't know, where I fit in. And I told her, I said, Ashley, I had those same exact feelings. I always felt like I kind of was just different. I wasn't a model. I wasn't a dancer. I was just Nattie. And I said, just by being myself, it made me the most successful by just embracing my unique qualities. I'm not built like the rest of the girls. I'm 160 pounds of Neidhart. And that's great, because that's what made me successful.
There's your T-shirt.
there's the catchphrase. But it's funny because I was giving her the same talk that I needed someone to give me when I first got hired in WWE, because I didn't really know where I fit in. And like, I was, just when I first got hired, I was really insecure and like, gosh, I'm not like the rest of these girls. Like, I'm only good at wrestling, and like everybody else is like a dancer or a model. And, I wasn't very feminine, and I didn't know how to put on makeup. And I just like, just was kind of a tomboy. So I was having the same talk with Charlotte, Ashley Blair, and I just told her, I was like, what got me to the point where I am now, and what's made me the most successful, and it took me like a decade to figure this out, was just by being me. And if I had known that back then, like what I know now, I would have been like, gosh, I would have saved myself so much heartache. But we had this really great talk, and she kind of opened up to me about how she didn't feel like she fit in, and she didn't feel like she was good enough, and she also didn't feel like she could fill her father's shoes. And I said, I've been through all of those same things. Like the first time I went to Japan, I was like terrified, even though I had trained with Tokyo Joe and I had trained in the dungeon, and I was good. I got to Japan and I was like, oh my God, everybody, like, they're going to expect me to be like Bret Hart and Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid, and I'm not them. I'm not like them. I'm Nattie. I'm a girl. I'm different. And once I just kind of let it go, like, I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to be Bret Hart. I can honor him, and I can certainly pay tribute to him, and damn straight I'm going to steal a sharpshooter, but but I'm going to be Nattie. And so once I kind of let that go and started to like realize that it was really good and important and okay to blaze my own trail, that's when like great things started to happen. So I felt good about passing on that knowledge to her, and then she really trusted me. So then when we had a rivalry in NXT, a short one, which really was just one match. And then we had, then I worked with her all last year on Raw and SmackDown before the brand split. And now she's back on SmackDown, and we're sort of in a feud right now. We're building to this ladder match at Money in the Bank. But like, I love working with Charlotte. I know I can go in the ring. I can get the job done. She can go in there. She hits hard. I hit hard. It's very, 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 very physical, to the point where like I feel like we're almost in a relationship. And I mean that in the best way, aka the German suplex.
Yeah.
But I love working with Charlotte, and I love that we just have we don't even have to talk. It's just a connection that we have. And somebody else that people will be surprised with that I loved working with was Nikki Bella. She was determined to prove herself after her injury. And you guys both know what it's like to go through serious injuries, and especially anything to do with your spine. And Nikki had come back from this spinal fusion, and it was a really serious injury, and they didn't even know at one point. Her surgeon was TJ's surgeon, Dr. Uribe, and they didn't even know at one point if she was going to even be able to make a comeback. So I helped Nikki kind of with her in-ring return, but I was like really nervous because I was like, TJ, I don't want to be the one that hurts Nikki and then have Johnny Ace, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, and Brie Bella staring me down. Yeah. And, like, because when you're, like, with Nikki, it's a whole, like, you get the whole package. You get all of them. So I was like, I don't know if I want to, like, go in the ring, and I'm afraid of, like, I don't want to rough her up, or I don't want to, like, because I'm really physical in the ring. Yeah. And it turned out my feud with her, I absolutely loved feuding with Nikki. We had so much fun, and it was like I had the time of my life.
Yeah, that Falls Count Anywhere. You guys had some. You could tell you guys were slinging them in there for sure. It definitely was physical.
We definitely had some moments where both of us were kind of black and blue at one point. But
yeah. To Nattie, just backing up a quick sec too. You said before that you you didn't necessarily feel quite right in your own skin, and you didn't know who you are and all those sort of things. But just my wife always says to me, she was Nattie always looks so nice. She always looks nice and done up. She looks like a real lady. Just so you know that. So she always says you look classy.
That's a nice compliment.
But it's funny that you were saying that all those things, and those are the type of things that are character building things that if you knew what you know now 10 years ago. But that's the thing. That's what makes people evolve as performers, and as people, as humans. And look to where you're at now. You've literally been around. Like you're probably the longest tenured woman in WWE at this point, I would think, or one of.
Well,
and you've literally seen.
I mean,
let's say you've kind of been seen everything at this point. You've also been at the forefront of the women's revolution, which has been great and has really kind of broken some barriers here for women going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I've been so lucky. It's funny because my birthday was like a week ago, and WWE put together this package on Twitter, like of just like some of my greatest like moments, and I was like looking at the pictures, and I was like, wow, like I've done so much. Like I've had so many fun, amazing moments in the company, and like it really was such a reminder to me, like of how grateful I am. Because sometimes you just get in the hustle and bustle of life, and you can like forget about all the things that you did and places that you went to and people that you met, and like I like some of my favorite moments in the ring haven't even been in matches. It's just been like with my family in the ring, like standing there with Brett while TJ and Harry won the tag championships.
Yeah,
you know, like those are like just having my family with me and being with my best friends, and like, you know, again, like Beth and I had, I mean, gosh, I get goosebumps talking about it. Like so many moments where we would just be watching a pre-tape being filmed and we would just be laughing so hard we were crying. Like those are my moments, you know. And granted, it was cool to win the championship, and you know, Beth was there for that too. But those moments that even the camera doesn't catch, like I was like, gosh, I've just been so lucky, and it was brought to my attention actually that I've had the most matches of any woman in WWE history.
Wow.
Like matches, like out of the ring, in the ring, TV, pay-per-views, like of any woman, I've had the most matches.
It's amazing, and
that's scary that I'm beating the fabulous Moolah. But I've had a 10-year career here, and I started wrestling when I was very young, so that helped me too.
Yeah.
That's definitely helped me, but I've just been so lucky, and I've had such to be a part of, you know, to be a part of women doing more stuff in the company, even when you know, actually it's one of my next Calgary Sun columns is writing about the women and this ladder match and the strides we've made. But Beth and I were part of the first ever table match in WWE, the first ever women's table match. And even just putting that together, I remember how nervous we were, and, you know, we wanted, Beth and I really wanted to paint the table and like make it really different. And, you know, women are always, you know, I feel like we're always, you know, working to prove ourselves, and especially when you're in an industry where it is very male dominated. And even growing up, my grandfather is one of my, you know, heroes in my life. But even my grandfather, he'd never had a woman train in the dungeon before, and he was very traditional. He didn't really even want me getting involved in wrestling because he didn't feel like it was a place for his granddaughter. You know, he was okay if, you know, my grandfather loved the women wrestlers that he met, but like when it came to his granddaughter, same with my dad. My dad was like, I'm not letting my daughter wrestle. And I tell that story to people, and they're like, wow, your dad didn't want you wrestling? I'm like, no, my dad did not want me wrestling at all.
Yeah.
My dad's like, you know, I'm really good friends with Luna Vachon, and, you know, she's really tough. Like, she can handle it, but, like, I don't want you doing it, because my dad was just protective of me. He didn't want me getting hurt.
Exactly, yeah.
And then when my dad saw that I liked it and I was having fun with it, my dad became like my biggest cheerleader. And same with my grandfather. My grandfather was in the dungeon teaching me how to throw a forearm.
It's interesting, though. You talked about the headway that women in the industry have made, and you know, there's Moolah, there's May, there's, you know, Judy Grable. There, I mean, you go all the way back. There's Velvet McIntyre, there's Wendy Richter, there's Jumping Bomb Angels, and then, you know, fast forward a little bit, you have, you know, Lita, and you have Trish, and you have Jazz, and you have Victoria and Ivory, women that could really wrestle. And I feel like you and Beth, and definitely some others, you were the bedrock to keep the whole thing alive, to get to where it is now, where you know, you say you feel like you have to prove yourself, but I think that's great. I think, you know, you talk about the Money in the Bank ladder match, and you have 5 girls that feel like they need to prove themselves. And when you feel the need to prove yourself, I always found that was when I did my best work. So
Absolutely.
I think it's great to see how far it's come. The point that WWE has finally realized that the women can be a draw, that they can do everything that the men can do, and then some. And so I was super excited when I saw that the women were going to get a chance to do a Money in the Bank ladder match, because Jay and I were involved in the first one. So to see it come all these years later, to have you five in there, how's that feel? Like you're the first to do this.
Yeah, TJ actually pointed out to me that you guys were in the very first one, and TJ is like a little wrestling almanac historian. So yeah, you guys have definitely. I got to prove myself to you two. But I was nervous at first when I heard about it, but then I was like, just like you said, just like I got to prove myself. Like I want to show that women can do exactly what the men can do, and structurally we're built differently than men, but it doesn't mean that we don't have like. A lot of what we do in WWE, like where there's a will, there's a way. And when you have heart, you can do anything. And, the other day, for example, last Tuesday on SmackDown, like I went through the announce table and there was like, never any hesitation to me about even taking that bump. I was like, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this ladder match. Like I know safety to me is a priority because I definitely want to keep myself safe and keep the people that I'm working with safe. But I also know that when you're skilled, and the girls that I'm in there with are very skilled, I think that we can cover all of our bases. We can tell a great story because really the point of the match is to climb that ladder and grab the briefcase. Yeah. So we can tell a great story. We can entertain the crowd with some awesome action. We can keep each other safe, and we can tell an amazing, story of, and the fact that it's the first ever for women.
That's just it. You have a blank canvas.
Yeah, and it's like we are getting to write this story, like not just in the ring, but for like, just building up to it. Even everything leading up to it is going to be incredible. Like it's just such an exciting thing to be a part of. But my mom has been like driving me crazy because she's like, Nattie, I don't know if you should do this, and I don't feel right about it. I'm getting a bad feeling, and I'm like, Mommy, listen, I can do this. If we can put up with my dad on a daily basis.
You can put up with one 20-minute ladder match.
I can put up with a ladder match. And it's such a huge honor. Like I've been on cloud nine since we found out we were doing it.
It really is amazing too. I mean, how far, and that's credit to all of you also for taking the ball and realizing the opportunity and capitalizing on it. Back in the day, not even too long ago, it was basically, the women had one segment on a show, maybe two if you got lucky. But now you guys are a featured part of both Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Important part of pay-per-views with multi-matches, and the titles mean more now than they've ever meant before. And so then here you are again doing another first with this Money in the Bank ladder match for the women, and did you ever think at any point that it was gonna come to this? Is this how you were hoping it would be, or were you expecting like, hey, we just keep putting in the work and keep just plugging away? Eventually, this will happen for us.
Well, I mean, it's hard to know sometimes in WWE because I feel like I kind of. And I know Beth and I have talked about this before too. Because we just went through a lot of the same stuff together. Like there was a struggle there for a while where wrestling wasn't always wasn't always what they wanted the girls to do. Mm-hmm. And so when you have like myself or Beth, where that's really what our strength was and is, that's really all I wanted to do. But that's sometimes, in the company in WWE, it's an entertainment company as well. So sometimes there would be dancing, and sometimes there would be stuff involving bikinis or best body contests. And again, that goes back to Beth giving me that advice about like, don't put it over, don't sell, don't like just make the best of anything that you're given. You make it gold. And actually, when I was down at in developmental and FCW, Beth and I had been in touch, and I started to kind of reach out to her through social media, and we got to be friends. I got her number, and that's when our relationship was sort of just getting off the ground. And I remember really being upset about this Best Bodies contest that we had to have, and it was Beth who gave me advice and just said, like just smoke and mirrors, Nattie, just smoke and mirrors. Like you don't have to worry about having the best body. You're not a bikini model. Like just go out there and she actually was a bad guy, and she gave me this idea that I should go into the Best Body contest wearing a black turtleneck. And we ended up using that idea, and I remember Dr. Tom loving it. And it was just for one of the live events that we had, but was a great way to like not put over the fact that I was uncomfortable with wearing a bikini in the ring and having to dance, but also building into a bad guy character. And not putting it over, not showing anybody that I didn't want to do it, just rolling with the punches. Because it always came back down to wrestling. We always got back to wrestling. And now we're part of this. Just in the last couple of years, I've really started to like drive this women's revolution in WWE because really, and this is what I think, because people are always questioning like, who started the women's revolution? And it was this girl or that girl. It was, was it Paige and Emma who had the first match of the Rival? Or was it Nattie and Charlotte? Or was it Stephanie? Or was it the Twins? Or really, I feel like what started the surge of this women's revolution is that the world was demanding it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, the world was changing. You saw the success of the U.S. women's soccer team and Serena Williams and Venus Williams and Ronda Rousey. And, Ronda was really turning the needle for, she was just driving viewers. And I think people could really see that, like, Ronda could sell an arena. She was the show.
Yeah.
And people were excited to see the guys, but they were, like, tuning in to see Ronda because she was beautiful and she could fight. She could go. And the world was demanding this change. So WWE, always being ahead of the curve, was like, wow, we have to like make these changes as well because this is what the world wants. This is what the world is demanding. This is what the world is craving. And so I really do think that like current events in the world and the way that women were kind of taking over in a lot of different sports areas, again, I mentioned those names, Serena and Venus Williams, the U.S. women's soccer team, and Ronda Rousey, like, it showed WWE that, like, this is your hot ticket right now. And the women are doing incredible numbers. Like, even our ratings, like, every week we're being told, guys, like, last week, girls did the highest numbers. And because people just want to tune in and see the girls do different stuff, and they want to see us wrestle. And so that was music to my ears because, like, I feel like, and I'm going to be brutally honest, like, I'm not really good at a lot of things. I can't cook to save my life. TJ, unfortunately, has had to deal with that. I can't dance. I'm not a model. I'm not a good singer. But what I can do is wrestle. Yeah. And I love wrestling. And if I'm only good at one thing, then great. And that's the one thing right now that's we're really embracing. So I'm like happy to just take the ball and run with it. And I'm not like anything that I get in WWE, even in the past. They asked me to dance with the Great Khali. I did a gimmick on TV where, I was asked to pass gas. I never, ever, ever said no to anything because I always knew that I could make it gold. And now that I'm being given the thing that I love the most, which is wrestling, not only am I going to make it gold, I'm going to hit a home run out of the park.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned, because I've always said that I thought it was Rousey that kind of opened up WWE's eyes to the fact that women can move the needle on pay-per-views, on ratings, and all of those things. I feel like WWE is behind the curve, which isn't a bad thing. Vince will always say he likes to be just behind the curve. And I feel like when it came to the women, they were behind. And they started to see other industries where, like you said, Venus, Serena, Ronda Rousey, all these powerful women, and I mean, built powerful women were kicking ass. And I think if they were ahead of the curve, they would have realized they had that for a long time. And instead of putting them in,
that's a great point. You're dead on about that.
Well, and then that way you guys wouldn't have been in bikini contests, and you and Beth would have been the Divas of Doom and actually being able to, be a tag team that led the division. Because it was there, it just was never given a chance. Let's put it this way. Can you imagine a bunch of the male superstars having to do a bikini contest? And no, exactly. And it should be even on both sides. So I'm glad that it now finally is, and I'm glad that you were a part of making it get to where it is. You should be proud of yourself.
You're right. You know what, Adam? I'm actually glad that you said that because,
I can say it. I don't work there anymore.
Exactly. And I do. And I think I'm like, I'm always very cautious about like not bashing anything that I've done in the past because I just believe in like staying positive about certain things. But there are moments. I'm going to be a little like not politically correct. There are moments that I'm like, gosh, I wish like I could have been wrestling this whole time. I wish that I could have had 10 years of just wrestling, like and doing the exact same stuff as the guys because there were moments where I didn't want to do best body contests. Like I'm not a fitness model. I'm not a bikini model. Like
You're
I'm a wrestler. I'm a lady
wrestler.
And so,
well, thankfully, all of those steps, at least, were all
have happened.
forward, even if they felt backwards at certain times. At least they got all of you to the forward steps that you're all making now, to where you're in a Money in the Bank
so
ladder
that's
match.
good now that we're here.
Yeah. Well, Nattie, we know that you got to move your parents into the house that you bought for them, so we don't want to keep you. But we do have ideas going forward. You're going to be back on the show. We won't spoil it and let everybody know what it's going to be. We'll wait for that. In the meantime, kick some ass in that Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah, Nattie, we're all looking.
Thank you so much.
I have no doubt you guys are gonna do an amazing job. You're gonna blow everybody's mind. You're gonna bring it like you guys always do, and go out there, you little wombat, and give them 160 pounds a Neidhart.
Thanks so much, Jay. And I can't wait to see both of you guys again soon and have a wombat, lion, and mongoose reunion.
Nattie.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was such a huge honor to talk to you guys today, and mainly just because I like you guys so much. I would do it again in a heartbeat. So you just give me a call when you want to talk again.
Oh, we will.
Feelings mutual.
Say hi to TJ.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I will.
Bye, Nattie.
You're listening to ENC's Pod of Awesomeness.
So that was fun.
That's fun.
I always love catching up with Nattie. We go back so long, the three of us, along with TJ and then with Beth and everybody. She's one of those people on the road that can always get you to laugh.
Yeah. She's just a good person, good soul.
Yep.
Whenever I saw her, no matter how tired I was, or if I was in a bad mood, she'd always bring a smile to my face. Still does. Still love, whenever, I know she's super busy, but sometimes we'll get a chance to go out for dinners, and because we live in the same city. But just a great person. I'm glad that she's getting a spotlight. It's great for her.
Yep. Someone like her always needed in the locker room to be a leader, and also, like I said, to be a nice little humorous Band-Aid on days where you're tired, sore, got the flu, whatever it is. Nattie always make you laugh. If you wouldn't tell from that conversation we just had with her. So excited to see her get the opportunity to compete in the first ever female Money in the Bank at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I almost said pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Coming up this month. Is it still pay-per-view? Because it's on the network. And
I think it's
both.
both.
I don't know.
Is
it both?
I think so. I think they.
It's going to become a dated term for sure at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Catch it on closed circuit.
Like a rotary phone.
Yeah.
Huh?
Catch it on closed circuit.
Never mind. I went to WrestleMania 4 and 5. I went to the London Gardens and saw them on closed circuit.
Yeah, and for people that don't know what closed circuit is, it was basically they would set up like 4 giant movie screens in an arena, and this was before pay-per-view, and they would sell tickets, and people come to the arena like they were watching a live show, and it would be a live show, but they'd be watching the screen of the event happening live.
Yeah. How about that? Like, think about that. Now, everybody gets sit in their home, they get the WWE Network, they hit a button, there's blah, 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 and it's all, Bob's your uncle. You had to drive to an arena if you actually wanted to see it live, to watch it on a screen live.
Yeah.
Kids these days got it so lucky.
Yeah. Man, now you can watch it on an app on your phone. What's the World Cup?
Or you can listen to podcasts, which weren't even a thing yet.
Nope. They weren't.
And now you can listen to ours on all the various outlets. Birdman, would you like to spout the ways?
I would love to spout. And here we go. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, dig it. And
leave
you can
reviews.
You can pay-per-view. And you can send us an email on our bot email address at ecpodofawesomeness at. Okay, I'm going to start this again because I didn't mean to say at. I meant not at like Twitter at. I meant at this address, which is ecpodofawesomeness at gmail.com. There you go. Make it nice and simple for everyone.
Yeah, if you got that, more power to you. We also have Twitters. We have ENC at ENC Pod. We have at Edge Rated R. We have at Christian 4 Peeps.
Yep.
I mean, we're out there, folks. The only one I got to get now is Instagram, because there's some dude or somebody who has an Instagram with like 220,000 followers claiming they're me.
Yeah, same
I know
with me.
you're out there,
Somebody
man.
has an Instagram one saying like 100-something thousand followers, and they're like, "Hey, is this you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not on
No.
Instagram." So if you're following me on Instagram, it's not really me; it's fake. And
It's
you can
not
also
us.
follow Nattie at Nat by Nature.
Oh,
Plug
and
in
John Morrison,
Yeah,
Hennigan,
yeah,
Mundo.
yeah.
I'm going to look it up right now. This is how prepared I am.
I think it's at
I'm
John.
going to look up
Morrison.
his Twitter handle. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, at The Real Morrison.
There you go.
1 million followers, and he's in the Palace of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Pro wrestler, actor, fitness guru, person. I'm formerly known John Morrison. Currently wrestling for Lucha Underground as Johnny Mundo. Behold my tweets. So there you go.
Let me ask you a question. Remember
And
he
you
used to
can
be.
see
Remember he was the Monday Night Delight, and then he was like the Tuesday Night Delight. But now, you think he's just like the 7 Night Delight, just like every night?
Ooh, there you go. I think you just gave him his next shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
get him back
can
online.
get booned. Hop on his Twitter and you can get booned and see clips of him as Boone taking out Kevin Sorbo, which is was pretty funny.
Pretty cool.
All right, Birdman. Well, I have a feeling
you.
with all this ladder stuff, we may need to talk about ladders next week. What do you
Yeah,
think?
we can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Let me go back through my my ladder binder and see what I can come up with.
Binder.
I have a binder
binder,
of ladder
do you?
information there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a. Do you have a duotang as well?
You know I have a duotang. That's how I do it.
Only Canadians, I think, will get that. I don't know if there are duotangs in the States or England, or I bet you they were in England, actually.
They probably were.
But crazy like us Canadians.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, England? Do you like that?
No.
This is my shout out to England this week.
Shouldn't be like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheerio, England. Hello.
Oh, way to alienate them. Now they're all going to be like, really?
No.
You moron. You're every stereotype. You just
Hold on
lived
a
up to
second
it. Cheerio, pip pip, and all that. Spotty.
How is it stereotyping if that's the accent and I have it nailed down to a T?
Well, I mean, it's essentially like somebody coming up to us and saying "a" after every word. We don't do that. It's a stereotype. Don't get me hot, man. I still got this quadruple espresso kicking through my veins. It is pounding through my heart right now, and I will get fired up in a heartbeat.
I will slap your ass.
Why?
I don't know.